Good morning students. Today we'll learn algebra and this will be specifically learning about graph sheets. There was an instance in the 17th century when René Descartes, a famous mathematician, became ill, and from his bed he noticed an insect hovering over a corner and sitting at various places on a ceiling. What he did is he drew the ceiling on a piece of paper with horizontal and vertical lines showing directions as north, south, east, west. So with these directions, he could spot the positions or the places where the insect sat. This is how the theory of graph sheets came into existence. See what is graph sheet. Graph sheets are nothing but a visual method for showing relationship between numbers. Graph sheets are usually drawn on a graph paper. These graph paper will have large square of 2 centimeter sides, and then they will have 4 squares which are 1 centimeter in sides, and then this 1 centimeter square will have 25 tiny squares. This is how a graph paper will look like. In the previous classes, we have already learned how to draw a number line for integers. First, we'll draw a number line for integers. So draw a line and then mark 0, the origin, 1, 2, 3, 4, the positive integers, and then negative integers minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4. For graph sheets, we also take a vertical line similar to the line we have already taken. So this vertical line will have again positive integers 1, 2, and then negative integers minus 1, minus 2. This is how a graph sheet looks as such. Let's see the parts of this graph sheet. So graph sheet is basically a system of fixing a point with the help of two measurements, horizontal and vertical. This is also called Cartesian system. This is called Cartesian system in the honor of René Descartes. Okay, so René Descartes' system of fixing a point with the help of two measurements, horizontal and vertical, is named as Cartesian system in his honor. Now, this point at the center is called origin. The intersecting point of the perpendicular line O represents origin 0, 0. And this horizontal line is named as XO X dash, which is x-axis. And this vertical line is named as YO Y dash, called the y-axis. Both axes are called coordinate axis. Okay, these both axes are called x-axis and y-axis are called coordinate axis. This plane containing x-axis and the y-axis is called the coordinate plane or the Cartesian plane. With that understanding, let's look into signs in the graph. X coordinate of a point is positive along OX direction. So OX direction is towards the right side, which is positive. 1, 2, 3, 4, positive. And then towards the OX dash direction, X coordinate of a point is negative. So X coordinate of a point is negative along OX dash. Now Y coordinate of a point is positive along OY, that is towards up. Y coordinate of a point is positive, and towards down, Y coordinate of a point is negative. Let's see what an ordered pair is. A point represents a position in the plane. A dot represents a point, represents a position in a plane. A point is denoted by a pair A, B. A, B. So this point is represented by A, B of two numbers A and B listed in a specific order. So A, B cannot be B, A. A, B should be A, B only. And then here A represents the distance along the x-axis. Distance along the x-axis will be 0 to 2. So A will be 2. And this 2 is basically abscissa or x coordinate. Now next, after we take A represents the distance along x-axis, we take B represents the distance along y-axis. So along y-axis it is B. So 0 to 1 will be B. And this 1 is basically ordinate or y coordinate. Now we get that A is 2, B is 1. So this point has the ordered pair 2, 1. How does this 2, 1 ordered pair show us the position of this point. How does it show? When we mark 2, we see that from y-axis along the x-axis, we find the distance from y to the point. And then when we take b as 1, we find the distance along the y-axis from x-axis to the point. So this is how the position of the point is received from the ordered pair. Let's see how we can mark an ordered pair in a graph sheet. So the ordered pair given here is -3, 2. So -3, 2 means -3 is the x coordinate or the abscissa. So -3 along the x-axis. X-axis is this one. So along the x-axis will be 0 to -3. This red line will be the ordered pair -3. And then we take -2 along the y-axis. -2 along the y-axis will be 0 to -2 along the y-axis. Then once these two are marked, what we do is we draw a line from -3 to down, because here it is down. Okay, so we mark a line from -3 straight, never ending line, and then we mark a line from -2 to left, because this along the x-axis it is going leftwards, so we make a line towards left from -2, and this intersection of these two lines, these two yellow lines, gives the point or the position of the point. This is how we mark an ordered pair. So this is the point we get. Let's learn about quadrants. Quadrants are usually taken in anti-clockwise direction. So first quadrant is this quadrant, which have positive values. Any point on this quadrant will have positive values. X value will be positive and Y value will also be positive. Here X will be greater than 0 and Y will be greater than 0 as they are positive. And then second is this quadrant. It goes anti-clockwise, as you can see. And then this quadrant, any point will have negative and positive value. Negative x-axis value and positive y-axis value. Any point in the second quadrant will have negative x-axis value and positive y-axis value. Here x is lesser than 0 and y will be greater than 0. And this third quadrant will have any point with negative and negative values. Ordered pair will have x-axis to be negative and y-axis to be negative. So x will be lesser than 0 and y will be lesser than 0. And the final quadrant, anti-clockwise, is the fourth quadrant. Fourth quadrant, any point will have values positive and negative. Positive and negative in the sense positive will be the x-axis value and negative will be the y-axis value. So here x will be greater than 0 and y will be lesser than 0 always. Now this point here is on the x-axis. So for any point on the x-axis, y value will be 0. Any point on the x-axis, y value will be 0. And here this point is on the y-axis. Y-axis, x-axis value will be 0. For any point on the y-axis, x-axis value will be 0. And then we move to one question. Here we take exercise 3.8 and third question from that. For reference, we take this chart showing quadrants and the signs against it. And then the first question under this is 3, -4. 3, -4, positive value for x-axis and negative value for y-axis. So positive and negative comes for fourth quadrant. And then next is 5, 7. 5, 7, both are positive values. Plus comes from the first quadrant. So 5, 7 is from the first quadrant. And 2, 0, again positive, first quadrant. And then -3 and -5. So both are negative values. Where x-axis and y-axis are negative, it belongs to the third quadrant. Negative. So -3, -5 belongs to third quadrant. And -4, -3. 4, -3. 4 is positive, -3 is negative. So positive, negative comes to fourth quadrant. And then -7, 2. -7 is negative value for x-axis and 2 is positive value for y-axis. So negative and positive comes for second quadrant. So -7, 2 belongs to second quadrant. and then minus 8 comma 0, minus 8 comma 0, again minus 8 belongs to negative x-axis value, and then 0 is y-axis value, which is positive. So negative positive belongs to the second quadrant. Minus 8 comma 0 belongs to the second quadrant. Last question, 0 comma 10. 0 comma 10, here both values are positive, so it belongs to the first quadrant. Finally, one more, minus 9 comma 50. Minus 9 comma 50, minus 9 is a negative value and 50 is a positive value. Negative and positive we have from the second quadrant. Let's see one more question from the same exercise, which is 3.8. The question given is, plot the following points in a graph sheet. D, F, H and L points are given. Let's see first point, which is D, minus 1 comma minus 1. Here as you can see, minus 1 is negative, minus 1 is also negative. So x value and y value is negative. So these both belong, this point belongs to the third quadrant, minus 1 comma minus 1. So x value is minus 1, y value is also minus 1. So the point will be here. This point will be minus 1 comma minus 1, which is D. And next is F, 2 comma 0. 2 comma 0 belongs to the first quadrant because both are positive. Now here y value is 0, which means the point lies on the x-axis. So x value is 2. So because y value is 0, the point lies on the x-axis and x value is 2. So the point will be here. This point will be 2 comma 0. Now next is minus 4 comma 0, negative and positive. This belongs to the second quadrant. This belongs to the second quadrant, but the y value is given to be 0. So y value is 0 means this point lies on the x-axis. So x-axis value is minus 4. So 0 because y value is 0, and then we have minus 4 for the x value. The point will be here. This point is minus 4 comma 0. Okay, last point L, which is 3 comma minus 2. 3 comma minus 2 means positive and negative. This belongs to the fourth quadrant. In this fourth quadrant, we take x value to be 3. So x value is 3. And then y value is minus 2. Y value is minus 2. So 3 and minus 2. 3 and minus 2. So the point will be here. The point is here. Okay, this point is 3 comma minus 2, which is L. Hope all of you have understood everything taught today. Thank you.